Hey, what's going, on, y'all? It is yours truly once again. Having too much sex makes a man feminine. Well, when you're living a purpose-driven life per se, your focus is the purpose that is on you. And this is versus what people have been saying lately as far as a man being on his purpose. No, the purpose should be on you. You should wake up every day with the purpose on you, like a blanket that's on you when you wake up every day, every second, every hour, every minute represents purpose to you. That's what it means to have the purpose on you versus you being on your purpose. Because in this way of the way that I'm putting it, you're never distracted. You're never distracted, especially in regards to sex. Because when the purpose is on you, you will always make sure that there's a purpose of sex. You know, and sometimes when I look at sex, I like to break it down into an acronym, SEX. So for me, it just really stands for spiritual, esoteric, X-ray. Because yes, sex is spiritual. And it does have esoteric properties to it, given that, you give off a lot of different energies. There's an exchange of energies when it occurs, when you're in that moment of sexual intercourse. And then last but not least, the X-ray part. You literally start to see through the person upon the sexual intercourse taking place. For those who are truly in tune to the spiritual side, you'll see the esoterics and then you'll see the X-ray. You'll be able to even get a glimpse at a person's life if you're really in tune with that individual. Otherwise, if it's void of that, then yes, it's the opposite. It's very sinister. So most people's sexual interactions are very sinister. But that's for another day, another time. But the thing is when you're not living a purpose-driven life and it's just driven off sex, you're obviously going off the feelings. It feels good, man. You just keep going after it, right? But last time I checked, feelings is an emotion. And the last time I checked beyond that is women are emotional. Men are logical. Women are emotional. So when a man is emotional because he's going off these feelings of sex, in essence, that's how he has become more feminine. And one thing I've noticed is, there's a few porn stars that I've seen, watch, after watching a few adult movies in my lifetime per se. I've noticed a few adult stars and their tone of voice and their demeanor and things like that. They start to talk more feminine. And I'm going to tell you where that comes from. That doesn't just come from them like in the feeling of sex. It's just these guys been around so many different women. You start to learn more about their female nature. You start to pretty much resemble them in some ways. You start to talk like them. I mean, you may still feel like you're in your masculine frame because you're having heterosexual sex, but your mindset is more feminine. You've had so much sex and you've been around so many women. You know what I'm saying? And so that really kind of affects your whole psyche now. Because you're at this point no longer driven by purpose. You're driven by female nature. Okay. So just to wrap this up, let's talk about, some of these females that aren't being real women. Right? It's the opposite for them because when a man is not purpose driven, I just explained how he's more driven by his feelings. That's feminine. So when you got a female that's not being a real woman, when you got a female that's not being a real woman, she's supposed to be in tune into her feelings, right? That's what femininity is. But what happens when she does the opposite? Instead of going off her emotions, she tries to use logic, and there's a balance of that. Everyone needs a balance of the emotional and the logic based on the yin and the yang. You know what I'm saying? But what happens when you get some females who are too logical? They want to be so-called, they want to be driven into their purpose, right? They want to be too focused on that. That's when you see a lot of these females be more masculine and you don't see that they're real women. You don't see that femininity in them. You do not see that in them. And sure, they still may want sexual desires, but it's based on position. It's based on, control and things like that. Whereas with a man, if he's purpose driven, as far as the way he implements sex in his life, it's for a reason, and it's with the right type of woman. He ain't just laying up with a female. You know what I'm saying? A real man don't have no time trying to show a female how to be a woman. No, a real man does not have time to show a female how to be a woman. In essence, he gets around women that want to know how to be better women. That's real talk. But fellas, keep that in mind. Let the purpose stay on you. Let the force be with you. Don't be forced into your feelings, especially if it's due to you being stuck on sex 24/7. Signing out.